good day everyone. Good day ma'am. I'm Jamel Kundaraan and I am going to present Typhoon. So here's our intended learning outcomes. By the end of the lesson, student should able to describe the structure and circulation of Typhoon, explain the formation process of Typhoon from warm ocean waters to the development of a low-pressure system, discuss the role of air masses, particularly warm waste air, in the development and intensification of typhoons. So what is typhoon? Typhoon is a type of tropical storm, tropical cyclone that forms over warm tropical or subtropical waters, particularly in the Northwest Pacific Ocean. Typhoon brings strong winds, heavy rains, and cause floods, landslide, and storm surges. So typhoon has a structure and parts that we will going to discuss: the eye wall, and the rain bands. So at the very center of the storm is the eye of the typhoon, a feature where precipitation ceases and winds subside. The diameter of the eye varies from about 5 to more than 6 km or 3 to more than 30 miles. In most typhoon, the eye is smaller at the Earth's surface and widens upward. Near the top of the storm, it may form a relatively large, nearly cloud-free zone surrounded by the upper portion of the eye wall clouds. So, eye is relatively calm and generally clear area of sinking air and light winds. So, next is the eye wall, the donut-shaped wall of the towering thunderstorm that whirl around the eye of the storm is called the eye wall. The greatest wind speed and heaviest rainfall occur in the eye wall, and hence it is the most destructive part of the storm. Eye wall, ring of the clouds and thunderstorm that produce heavy rains and usually the strongest wind. Next is the rain bands surrounding the eye wall and concentric bands of thunderstorm producing cumulonimbus clouds called rain bands. Because thick high-level clouds usually obscure the rain bands and eye wall, it is difficult for forecaster to use satellite imagery to monitor the storm interior. However, radar can be used for this purpose. So, rain bands, it is the curved bands of cloud and thunderstorm that trail away spirally from the eye wall and capable of producing heavy bursts of rain, wind, thunderstorm, and etc. So next is we will going to discuss the circulation of typhoon in the role of the Coriolis effect. So in typhoon, wind moves inward in the center or the eye of the storm. Because of the low pressure at the center, air rushes in from surrounding areas. So as air moves closer to the center, it spirals counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. These winds carry huge amount of moisture, causing heavy rains and strong gusts. The wind circulation creates a spiraling system of the strong winds and rains around the eye. So the role of Coriolis effect, it gives the typhoon its rotation and control the direction it spins. The Coriolis effect is the apparent deflection of moving air caused by the Earth's rotation. In the northern hemisphere, it makes the air curve to the right, causing the counterclockwise spin of the typhoon, and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. So without the Coriolis effect, the air would just rush straight into the center and no rotation would happen. The Coriolis effect is weak near the equator, which why the typhoons rarely form with 5 latitude of the equator. So next, we were going to discuss the typhoon formation. So how does a typhoon form? So a typhoon starts over warm ocean water at least 26.5 degrees Celsius. The heat from the water makes the air above it warm and rise. As warm, moist air rises, it leaves an area of low pressure below. Surrounding air moves in to replace the rising air. This rising air also warms up and rises. So, when this moist surface air rises, it condenses to form clouds. Condensation releases latent heat is extracted from the ocean into the surrounding air, which in turn warms the air and provide buoyancy for its upward flight. So, as the moist air rises, it cools and forms clouds and thunderstorm. When the system becomes strong enough with clear eye in the center and organized rotation, it's called typhoon. Next is the role of air masses and the typhoon formation, particularly the warm moist air. So this is the most important factor. Typhoons forms over warm ocean water, where warm moist air rises quickly. This rising air fuels the typhoon, providing energy and moisture from cloud formation and strong winds. So, when warm moist air interact with colder air above, it creates instability in the atmosphere. This makes the air rises rapidly, increasing wind speed, cloud formation, and eventually organizing into a spinning system leading to typhoon formation. So typhoon affect millions of people, specifically in coastal and low-lying areas. They also impact the economy by damaging the homes, school, farms, and infrastructure. So why is it important to understand or study the formation of typhoon? Studying typhoon helps meteorologists to predict the path of typhoon and strength, and it also gives people time to get ready. So that ends my report. Thank you.